Hi guys, it's Amy from Little Farm Quilts. Welcome to Floss Tube number 2. I want to thank everybody. I've gotten some new subscribers this week, so thanks for being with me and thinking this is worth watching. So anybody new, make sure to click on subscribe, click on the bell so you get notifications of new content, and shoot me a little message so I know that you're watching and you like what you see, or request things that you would like to see, because I have a lot going on. So it is Saturday morning. I'm not even sure I know what time it is. I think it's probably around 9:30. I've spent the morning kind of picking up the house. You know, if you work a full-time gig, that's kind of how you start your weekend always, is kind of picking up the house and tidying up from the week. Seems like there shouldn't be a ton for me to pick up because there's just 2 of us here. But along with just the 2 of us, we have 4 dogs, 2 cats, and there's just a lot of tidying and fur cleanup, it seems, by the time we get to the weekend, plus the laundry that we've amassed during the week. And we decided this week to give most of the dogs a bath. So I don't know if you've just following along. One of my dogs is a geriatric lab who weighs about 100 pounds. So he takes 2 or 3 towels on his own just to get him dry enough, because here in upstate New York, we are now officially into winter. We had a snow this week. I think we saw snowflakes coming down probably 3 days this week. No snow coming down this morning, but it was frigid this morning. And I guess we're supposed to have some sort of snow event next week, which I take it to mean that we're having several days where we see snow and accumulation. So here we are, officially into winter. We're not even at Thanksgiving yet. But we had a day where the winds were really bad here. To the point where I went out a day later to check our beehives to make sure they were still in the upright position out in the bee yard, because we haven't yet gone back. We usually ratchet strap the hives down for the winter. We haven't done that yet. We are beekeepers that work full-time gigs, so we get to do things when we have time to do them, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, bees were in existence long before we were here, so they should be able to manage on their own. But I think the hives are okay. They're in a sheltered area this year, more sheltered area this year, so as far as from the winds, so we should be good to go. But it's been a busy week. I had a friend over last night and she quilted a quilt on my long arm. So those of you that are sewers or quilters and you don't want any cross stitch stuff, head back to the channel page. There are a ton, and I mean, I think a ton. I don't even know how many there are there now of quilting related videos. Everything from some tutorials to some videos from Facebook Lives I did, to some videos for sew-alongs that I've done, and teaching on that part of the channel. So make sure to check back on the home page, like those videos, and see if you like that content. But every other Saturday I post a floss tube. My idea with this, and it just started 2 weeks ago with number 1, hence today number 2, was that some people just like the cross stitch stuff and they don't want to have to weed through the sewing stuff. So my thought was to keep it separate. I do sew-alongs on my Facebook page at Little Farm Quilts. I'll put the link below. Right now we're in the middle of a Trees on Parade, right in time for Christmas sew-along. So if you're interested in that, head over there. I will do stitch-alongs with cross stitch on this video. I will kind of tell you guys what I'm doing, where I get my things. I'll link as much as I can below. And thanks for joining me. I guess that's the business end of aspect of it. You'll notice that today I do not have my glasses. I'm trialing my contacts again. The cool thing I find with cross stitching and contacts is that I can wear my contacts, which are a multifocal contact, and then I can wear a pair of readers, if I'm working on really small things. So I have found that kind of useful. I used to be an Aida girl and always stitched on Aida, and now I'm venturing into linens, both even weave and knot. I have ventured into Monaco. Thank you to Priscilla and Chelsea of the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. Please go check them out. I will link them below. And I've also ventured into different colors of Aida. So it used to be when I cross stitched, I just cross stitched on either white or cream Aida. That was it. And it was usually 12 or 14 count. I was really a generic cross stitcher, and I probably never worked on things that I would consider at the time an art piece. It was just something I did mainly to keep myself busy, to give myself stress relief. I mean, and here comes one of the dogs. Felicia's coming down to join us. Anyway, not an art piece. Lately, with some inspiration from a lot of different cross stitchers, I watch a lot. I watch the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. I watch Stitching with the Sisterlies. I watch Java Girl Stitches. And some of the others that I can't remember because I've just kind of popped in and popped out. But I have been searching for more floss tubers to watch because I take hints from them. I watch the Fat Quarter Shop floss tube every Wednesday. I'll link that below. I should be writing down the list of the things I'm mentioning, so when I'm done with this video I can link, but what ends up happening is I end up listening to my video and then putting the links in as I'm listening to it, which I guess that's efficient too, I guess. So but with the contacts I can put readers on, and I can get readers of different strengths. So these are, I think, 1.5. I do have 2.5s. And upstairs, I recently acquired a pair of 5.0s, which I'm not sure if they're going to help me or not. So I have bad eyesight. As I mentioned, I have trifocals in my glasses. I have multifocals in my contacts. And I work on a computer as a nurse manager all day, Monday through Friday. I'm constantly looking at a screen, looking at charts. So I think I have what I would classify as eye fatigue, I guess we get by the end of the week. So then I just went through a period where I only wore my glasses, and you can tell in my videos because my eyes were just tired and fatigued. I didn't need a new prescription. I just needed my eyes to be able to rest, and I think eyes work harder in contact sometimes. I needed them to rest, but there are benefits to wearing contacts and there are drawbacks. So personally, I think, and you can help me by commenting below, everybody comments on how tired I look always. My eyes, it's a genetic thing. There are nights when I don't sleep well. I am an insomniac, but my eyes as I age, I find, are looking older. I feel like they look older than I am. I've tried a ton of different makeup tricks, that's the word I'm looking for. I've tried a ton of different blending things, makeup, illusion. I personally think my eyes look tired now, more tired now without my glasses on than I look when I have glasses on. However, like I said, there's an advantage in cross stitch when you wear multifocal lenses, and you can put readers above and beyond what you already have in your multifocal, because it makes some of these smaller weaves in cross stitch easier to stitch on. So I've been able to kind of experiment with some things, and that's some of what I'm going to show you today. I have a lot going on in the cross stitch world. So my cross stitch world, not unlike my sewing world and my long arm quilting for other quilters world, I always have a million things going on. The exception is that my long arm only holds one quilt at a time. I actually think I might be a little ADD in the fact that I get bored very quickly with something. So just as if you follow me on the quilting part, I always have probably 6 quilts going at any given time, because I get bored piecing one and I'll switch to a different one. I'll piece that for a while and then I'll switch back, and I'll go back and forth. This is why I don't do art shows. This is why I don't constantly have a litany of things to sell. I finish things that I want to work on, both cross stitch and quilting, and I list them in my Etsy shop, which I will also link below. I will also link other Etsy shops below that I mentioned today because I believe in promoting other small businesses. So just as in my sewing world, I have a million cross stitch, what seems like a million cross stitch things going. And you guys are going to watch this video and think, gosh, she is nuts. I don't think I am. And I'm going to tell you why. Work life right now, you know, work life's ebb and flow. My work life right now, for me, is super stressful. Not that I don't do it well, not that I'm not good at what I do, but it's just super stressful. So I used to be able to come home, play with my kids, talk to them about their life, and you get a distraction from the stuff, kind of the crap that you're dealing with. Well, now my kids are grown and they're gone, and I don't get to speak to them every day. As much as I would like to, that's really not the way that works. And they have a life, and they don't need to be checking in on their mama. So, the quilting and the cross-stitching has become something that's super important to me for my mental health, and it needs to work for me. And working for me means I have many projects going, and I just keep flitting kind of between the projects and work what I want to work on. That being said, I also do organize this stuff a little bit. So I do have a planner, and I think I put this on my hanging by a thread video from last week. So if you watch this video, this is a little repeat for you. So just bear with me, fast forward through it, whatever you want to do. I have a big planner. And on this planner, I don't write daily goals. What I write is there's a segment of the page that I just list kind of some generic goals. Some of them are sewing goals, some of them are cross-stitching goals, and I'm just going to give you an example of kind of the goals I put on here. Farm Girl, I'm part of the Farm Girl Fridays group. It's a sew along with Lori Holt from her Farm Girl Vintage 2 book. If you want to know more about that, head over to Hanging Out by a Thread video. I talk more about that. But Farm Girl Vintage Block 1 and 2, finish, cut blocks 3 and 4, which came out yesterday on Fridays. The next one was cross-stitch goals. I listed one tree on Jardin Prive. I'll show you that. My Christmas starts. So I wanted to do a little more Christmas stitching, and a lot of the Mania starts that I have left over are not Christmas related. They're more Thanksgiving related, which is no way in God's green earth I'm getting that done by Thanksgiving. So I kind of wanted to head into Christmas, and then I'll pick the Mania starts back up through the winter. So I have Christmas starts in here. Finish Boo, which I'll show you and talk to you about if you have not followed along with me. I guess I should use proper English too, huh? Dye fabrics. Part 1, Snow Village complete. Start Merry, make project bags. So those are my general goals. I try to make it a goal. So I take a cross-stitch project with me every day to work. If I have time, I generally work on it at lunchtime. I will also find myself stitching. We dial into a lot of meetings, and I will stitch during that because I know for me, I hear what they say better if I have my hands busy. That's why I think I'm a little ADD. Back when ADD wasn't a thing. But I do think I'm a little ADD. I have to keep my hands busy. And if I keep my hands busy, I can hear everything that's said in a meeting and recite it back to you after. If I do not, then a lot of the meeting kind of goes in and goes out because I get distracted thinking about other things. So it just works for me. So I always have a stitching project at work or a bag of stitching projects because I don't generally know when I'm going to feel like stitching. So I do that. I do make it a goal to cross stitch. I cross stitch every morning for probably anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes. I cross stitch every night when I settle down with my husband, probably the same amount of time, 30 to 60 minutes. If I get cross stitch in at lunch, it may only be like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If I can cross stitch during a meeting, I might get like an hour, if the meeting's an hour. And that's how I get a lot done. But I have general goals. And so everybody always asks how I get as much that I get done, both in sewing and in cross stitch, and that's it. And I do it every day. It is part of my daily regimen, just as trying to work out most days, which I fail at probably more than I succeed, but I try. Eating well, eating right, it's just as much of my well-being as all of that. So it's important to me. It's stuff I work on. And my husband and I aren't always together. And there's lots of time when I'm here alone. Because he likes activity all the time, where I have activity all the time at work. And I come home on the weekends and I just want to have a day to chill. And Saturdays and a lot of Sundays are those days for me. Just to chill and be home and be in my element and create. So with all that being said, it's nice to get to know you. So I would love for you to put comments below this video. Tell me a little bit about you, why you stitch, why you work on what you work on. What kinds of things do you work on? Because everybody has different things that appeal to them. And I'd love to see it. So please post it below and let me know what you're working on. I'd love to know. I love to watch others. If you have a YouTube that you have that you'd like to shout out to me or have me shout out, I will be happy to do that. Likewise, spread me around to others, I guess. Spread the word to Little Farm Quilts. Has a floss tube now. The stitching community, both on the sewing side and the cross stitch side, I find is very supportive for the most part, and I like being part of it. I like interacting. And so share my videos. Make comments below so that I can interact with you a little bit. That would be great if we could get a community here going. All that being said, let's get to the cross stitch. I'm going to show you guys some previous finishes. You may have seen these on my social media before. I have an Instagram account. I have a Facebook account. Little Farm Quilts is all over the place, and it has more exposure now. So it's very busy. I did not post every day on Instagram this week. Generally I do. This week, for some reason, I got out of the habit of posting on Instagram in the morning, and I never quite got back into it. So it will start again. I generally post a picture out there every day of things I'm working on, and they're not always cross stitch. Some are just general craft things. So there you go. So one of my previous stitches and finishes is Land That I Love. I believe it's I forget who made the pattern. I really do forget. And my finishing inspiration is from Priscilla Blaine. I will link her blog below. But I finished this actually before July 4th. I think I finished this, and this was hanging in my office. So I brought that to show you. The other previous finish I have to show you is from the Chock-full series. So you hear me talk about Chock-full a lot. You'll see two of them today. Harvest was the first one. I'm in the Chock-full club at Fat Quarter Shop. I believe the club is closed. It may have opened up for this last one, Mary. So please go to fatquartershop.com. Check that out if you're interested. I will try to link that below as well. They may have some of the extra kits. I don't think they have, listening to Kimberly Jolly the other day, I don't think they have any booze. They may have some Harvest kits. So the first one I'm going to show you is Harvest. These kits come with two patterns. One pattern's for a large, what they call a large, and one's for a small. And the finishing inspiration is directly from Priscilla Blaine over on her blog. So I finished it exactly how she did, although I probably embellished less. So this is Harvest. So I have the cross stitch in the center. I put it on sticky board with a little bit of batting underneath, and then I put this check material behind. I kind of like, if you ever watch Fat Quarter Shop's Floss Tube, Kimberly Jolly is very simplistic in her decorating, and I am too. Although I like to have different colors in one space, not so many different colors on one item. So I tend to do kind of what I would call a clean and tight. This is an enamel easel that was available at Hobby Lobby. And actually, I was at Hobby Lobby last weekend, and I did see one. I almost bought it to do a giveaway, but I did not. Maybe next time I go, I will. And this is all on magnets. So this is an enamel board that's metal, and these are all on magnets. See, big magnets on the back, and they just stick. That way, every boo jar that comes out, I can finish the exact same way, and I can alternate them through. You will see that there's seasons. So this is Harvest. This is the large. Let me see if I could set this over here without making a big clank. And this is the small. And I don't know if that shows up backwards to you. It looks backwards to me on the video. But here you go. This I finished same way, sticky board, and you'll see I put a little bit of rickrack around the edge, white rickrack, and the same black check fabric. I did not have to use a magnet on this. This is a bucket from Hobby Lobby, just like this. And I can tell you that I can't find them at any Hobby Lobby. As a matter of fact, this bucket I bought when I went to Bossier City, Louisiana with my husband to see our daughter and son-in-law. Well, my son-in-law and grandkids weren't there yet, to move them into their house in Louisiana. I went to their Hobby Lobby. I bought the last 4 buckets they had for people that I knew that wanted them. So I have not been able to find these since. I'm going back to Texas and Louisiana in February. I will take a look then in their Hobby Lobbies and see if I can find more, but I'm guessing not. So I'm not even sure you can get this anymore. But I didn't have to use magnets because this just kind of snugs in here. Let me see if I can get it snugged in. Just like that. And it stays. And it actually sits tipped like this on my, I have a refurb dresser that we made into an entertainment center. Underneath our big screen TV that's mounted on the wall, and it sits right there on that. The easel I have on my dining room table. The next chock full jar, which I guess I have to weed through this stuff because I was just kind of dumping it in here, was Boo. And I got a little behind on Boo. We had some stuff going on, and I wasn't able to start it immediately when I wanted to. So I did start it late. It's finished. The large is finished. I haven't started the small, and I probably, to be honest with you, will not, now that we're past Halloween, will not start the small probably till we're into winter time. And I'm through all my Christmas stitching. But I did finish Boo. And you'll have to forgive me, I did not iron this for you. I still have it in the project bag. But this is Boo. Like I said, I didn't start the small, but I do have the fabric here to do the small. And I'm not going to show the pattern for the small, but I can show you the picture of it. These chalk fulls are designed by Priscilla Blaine. She designs the chalk art, and Kathy Haberman from Hands On Designs, or Haberman maybe. Sorry, Kathy, if I mispronounced that. She transitions these into cross-stitch patterns. You can see here the small Boo is right there, and it's cute. I ran out of time. So in the effort to, I'm going to keep this all together, and in the effort to get on with some Christmas stitching, which is what I'm really in the mood for right now, I'm going to set this aside and pull it back out. I actually have a wooden crate. I have a glider rocker upstairs. That's where I stitch. I have a stand light there. I have a little end table there. And in the end table, there's those rungs that go across. And I have a wooden crate that fits perfectly as like a pull-out drawer on that end table. So in that, I have Mania Starts that I'm not working on right now. This will go in there to be pulled back out in the winter time when I'm stitching a ton more probably than I am now, because I don't really want to be outside in the winter. I'm not really a winter girl, so the minute we hit winter, I'm kind of over it. The only exception this year is that my husband and I have our 24th anniversary this year. Christmas Eve we got married. I am taking him away for a long weekend, and it's not to a beach weekend. It's to a beautiful place at Christmas time with all the lights, but it will be winter there. And so I'm going to try to embrace the winter this year for the first time in all of my almost 52 years of life, because I do not like winter. We're going to try to embrace it this year and just kind of do the best we can with it. So anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. My plan, one of my goals here was to start Mary. This is the next jar, is Mary. Let me take it out so it doesn't glare. And like I said, I'm in the Chockfull Club at Fat Quarter Shop, so these get shipped to me automatically. And I just get charged for them. I like that because I'm a cross-stitch pattern hoarder anyway. And I'm looking over at my pegboard. I probably have 30 patterns hanging on the pegboard. It's going to take me, I probably have enough patterns to do Mania already for next May. So that's a thing. But I see a pattern, I think it's pretty, I get it. I figure the worst thing that can happen is when I die, all my kids get it and they can sell it off. I don't know, do or whatever they want. The next jar is Mary. And my goal was to start this one. I did not. I have not yet. Now today's only Saturday. My weeks go Sunday to Sunday. So I might start it today or tomorrow. I don't know. It's on my goal, so I'm thinking I probably will start it. I don't know how far I'll get, because you'll see as we go through this video, I have a lot going. But look at the colors. I mean, the colors, you get all the floss and everything for these. I mean, just look at these. These are cute. Cute colors. You get all the fancy floss. And you got the red, the blue, the kind of tealy blue. I think it's really, is it really tealy? This is really tealy for the jar. And it's just cute. So I think it would be fun to start it. I have to cut the fabric. The kit comes with the pattern, the floss, and the chalkboard Ada. And this is one of the project bags that I threw together, so I did make my project bags. My project bags are nothing that I would sell in my Etsy shop, but they are good enough to work for me. So I just keep whipping them up because I find that I like them a lot better than Ziplocs, which is what I used to use. And honestly, I had never even heard of a project bag until I think they mentioned it on Fat Quarter Shop Floss Tube when Fat Quarter Shop Floss Tube first started, and then I heard way more about them when I started watching The Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, and then all of a sudden I see them everywhere. But I think I see them everywhere because I watch all these cross stitchers now that I never used to watch. I'm really not a TV person. Like, I used to go on every Thursday night and watch Grays. I don't do that anymore. I like watching YouTube. I like watching things that are constructive, and I like watching other people make success out of something they feel so important, is an important part of their lives, and I want to spread that to others. And it's kind of what we're trying to do here too. If people don't want to watch, then I'm just going to stop doing videos. It's not, no skin off my teeth, really. You know, I do it because I think that it's cool. So whips, I'm going to go on to my whips. So I started a lot this week. I also made progress on a lot this week. So let me get this over here. I just dumped half my project bag. So Snow Village is another, it's a stitching club through Fat Quarter Shop. The first part came out, I want to say last month. I think it's monthly. The 1st of October. I started the first part. I am doing them all. You had the option to do them all separately. It runs over, I believe, 11 months. I don't know if there's any spots open, but I will link it below in case you want to check it out. You can also buy the patterns and the items separately. The club is just you get everything. So you had a choice to stitch them all in one piece, or you can stitch them all separately. I've chosen to stitch them all separately, and I even cut up all my fabric so that I could stitch them separately because I didn't want to change my mind. Sometimes when I do this, I change my mind and then I'll restart it on a different fabric. But this one I'm going to stay doing this. There's another one that I'll show you that I'm doing all on one It's a series, and I'm doing them all on one, and I'm going to end up framing that one. But this one I'm doing separately. So Snow Village Part 1, my goal was to complete Part 1 before Part 2 came. That didn't happen. Part 2 is here, and I'll show you that in a second. Part 1's not done. But it's not that far off. I mean, I've got all 4 snowmen there now. I just have to finish up the snow in this bottom corner. I have to add the leaves to these trees over here. I have to fill in the letters on the banner, add some snowflakes, and it'll be done. I'm going to try, I think, to have this done this weekend so that I can start the second one. I don't think that's not doable. I actually think that I might be able to get this done this weekend. I just have to spend some time working on it is all. That's all. During the work, I probably cross-stitch more during the work week than I sew. Weekends are typically my sewing time. So today I'm going to load a quilt on the long arm. I am going to start quilting it. And I'm going to try, I have some goals for sewing this week, like cutting out a couple blocks, and I have my sew along tomorrow night. So I will be working on sewing, but there's plenty of time upstairs, like in the evenings, that Matt and I are just sitting there chilling out. Sometimes we're listening to music that I will have to stitch. So I think it's highly possible I can have this one done this weekend, if not early next week. The second one did come. I thought this was it, but this is the first one. So these are by Country Cottage Needleworks. And this was the first one. This is the first one, Snow Village. Gosh, I should know better by now to take them out of the package. Snow Village. And forgive me, I'm going to put these in right now while I'm filming, because otherwise I will forget and they will get all crinkled up, and I have a thing about that, so I don't do that. The second one came, it's called the Skate and Sled Shop by Country Cottage Needleworks. These are all by Country Cottage Needleworks. And that's the pattern. So my hope is to finish part 1 and start part 2. I will say by the end of the weekend. I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to be probably earlier next week, if I'm honest with you. I stitch as much as I can because I enjoy it, but at the end of the day, there's still things to be taken care of here, as you all well know. So let's get through these whips. The next one I've started, which is also a series, I wanted to start it. I've had the patterns for a long time. I think it came out last year. Don't quote me on that. It is by Little House Needleworks. It's called Jack Frost Tree Farm, and it is 7-part series, I believe. I have all of them. This is part 1. And I am doing it on coffee tea dyed Monaco that I dyed myself. Let me get this kind of straightened out. And I didn't get a ton done. I always start on the right corner and work left. So I kind of start on the right corner and work kind of down like this. I do on Monaco and linen tend to park my thread, and I'll show you what that means in a second. Because I have trouble counting, because I'm doing 1 over 1, and that's all new to me. So I tend to, if I have to change a color, I'll take one color and just take the needle and thread it through somewhere else in the fabric, take the needle off, start with the other color until I get to that color again, and then weave it through on the back. I'll do a video about that so you can see how I do it. I do like the backs of my cross stitch to be kind of clean. I'm a little OCD about that. I did not get much done on this, but I do plan on working on this a little bit more. I got like the side border and a little bit of the snow, which I think you can barely see in this lighting. But I wanted it like that. I want to be kind of more of a muted, because that's kind of the theme of the, it's kind of the theme on here. So that's what I did. And I'm using the called fors on that. I did not change anything on that. The other one that I wanted to start was, it is called Christmas Signs. It is by Tiny Modernist. It is this. And I meant to bring the package of this over here so I would remember what this is. This is a linen. And I think it's a beige. It's an even weave linen. It's beige. It looks more like a grayish color. I am doing these, I think, all on one piece. And then I will decide later if I want to cut apart or frame the 4 of them, because there's 4 of them. Or what I want to do. Or if maybe I want to stitch kind of a border in between and just frame them. I don't know what I'm doing with this yet. So I have a big piece here. I am going to stitch them all on here and see how it goes. And I only got a little bit done on this one. And see the letters. Can I get the thread out of the way? And you can see like the white, and then I did some red. And as long as I can count well, I'll keep doing the red. But if I can't, then I'll bring the white back over and do all that. If you've ever stitched on linen and Monaco, I'd be happy to hear any tips and tricks you have. The counting thing seems to be an issue. So if I'm trying to start something that's 4 stitches over from this other thing, I don't know, I tend to have trouble getting that count right, and then I figure it out later. And then, honestly, I don't want to rip out the stitches. The next thing, this was a Mania start that I pulled back out. It's by Jardin Prive. And I don't know what it's called because it's in French. I just like the trees. I think the trees are cool. So I started this during Mania start. So those of you that don't know Mania can be whatever you want. For me, it was every day in May I started a new cross stitch, and I did a video every day. So down in this channel, there are Mania videos 1 through 31. So take a peek at those. My goal on this one was to stitch one more tree. I had this tree done and this little white wisp at the top and this star done, which the star looks really sick, guys, because my counting thing. I finished this tree, and I finished it yesterday, and that was my goal this week, was to get one more tree on. A tree per week is kind of how I'm going on that. There are 6 trees with a few stars and some swirls on here, and I'm thinking a tree a week, and that's good. The other start that I wanted to do was a free pattern from Priscilla and Chelsea on their blog, which is already linked over below. I want you to check them out. They are funny. I love watching them. They shout out to small businesses, which I think is awesome. I'm a small business owner. I have a long arm business with my sewing, my stitching. I do 1 art show a year in September. I just did that, and I have my Etsy shop. So I, as a small business, love the fact that they shout out to small businesses. So please go check them out. I will link all their YouTube channel and their blog below. They're also on Instagram at Chelsea356 and Priscilla's 2000. But I encourage you to go check them out because they're fun. They're just fun. They have a free pattern over on their blog called Chicken Joy. And I can show you the pattern briefly because you can print it out for free. This is the pattern. It's got chicken with a tree. I wanted to at least start this because this is a small stitch and I have a good chance of getting it done for Christmas. And I have gotten a lot of the tree done. I've just left myself enough room to finish this. So I didn't really judge where I was starting it very well, but this was a scrap piece of chalkboard Ada I had from the Chalk Folk Clubs, and the thread, I'm using the called for, but because I have it. If I didn't, I would sub in what I had and had available. I wouldn't have bought new thread for this, because I have plenty of both Fancy Floss and DMC, so I definitely could have come up with something for this, but I had the ones they called for. So I'm doing that, and this is another one of the project bags that I whipped up the other day. Nothing special. It's not as fancy and definitely not as good as like Goose Designs or anything like that, but it works for me. and kind of allows me to spend more money on other stuff, patterns and things like that. So those, I think I've shown you all of my whips that I'm working on right now. Those are the ones that I'm going back and forth between. So there's 2, 4, 5, soon to be 6 if I start Mary. So 6 whips for a cross stitch. That's not bad. I thought I had more than that. All right, haul and information. So I belong to the Fancy Floss Fix at Fat Quarter Shop. If you want my name and address, it's on the other side of this. You just have to go to my Facebook page. It's there along with a phone number that you can text me if you're interested in anything I do. I belong to the Fancy Floss Club. This month was Swiss Mocha, and they sent me, these are Classic Color Works hand dyed fancy over-dyed threads. It's over-dyed threads. Caramel, Wagon Wheel, Trail Dust, Brandied Pears, Almost Autumn, and German Chocolate. And I'm going to take these out. So I'm actually going to post a picture on Instagram today of how I store these, because that was the question I got. DMC floss I have on those cardboard bobbins, and they're in a plastic case and they're on a shelf. These I wanted out where I could see them, because honestly, if I go to cross stitch something and I don't have the called for, I will substitute something in. So I will do what's called a floss toss, and I will lay the fabric down that I plan on doing the project, and I will pick colors that I think are going to work, and I'll lay them on the fabric, and I'll see if they all work together. So I'll post a picture about how I store my fancy floss. My studio and office is down here in the basement. I have a small window behind me, like right up there, but there's really not a ton of light down here. So before anybody comments, I don't have a problem down here with sunlight coming in and fading my fabrics. The lighting down here is all artificial. It's not going to fade my fabrics. It's not going to fade my floss. But I have hooks on my pegboard, and I have these hung by color group, and I just think it's pretty. So I'm going to post a picture on Instagram so you all can see. This is Caramel, and I'm hoping you get the idea of that. It's kind of like, maybe not my hair color. This is Trail Dust. My hair color is completely gray, all natural. I get asked that too. 3 years ago, I decided to grow my gray out. I did it, and here we are. This is called Almost Auburn, which is the color I used to dye my hair. This is Brandied Pears. This is German Chocolate. And I believe this is Wagon Wheel, which is actually one of the colors I need for something that I did not have yet. So there's that. And now these will go up on my board. And I promise I'll take a picture and I'll post it to Instagram probably right after I'm done taping here and while this video is uploading. Let's see, what else other haul did I get? I don't want to do that one yet. So I belong to the Ada Club at Fat Quarter Shop. The last one I received between Floss Tube 1 and now is Antique White. It is 14 count Ada. It's an 18 by 25 inch piece. I do believe that there are openings for this club at Fat Quarter Shop. And although I started getting into linens, and then I thought I might cancel this club, and I may cancel it eventually, but I'd like to build up my stock. As I've already mentioned, I'm in my early 50s. I am thinking about retirement. When we get to retirement, everybody's on a fixed income. Even we will be, even though we've planned to death for retirement. I probably won't be able to buy as much crafty stuff as I do now. So I figure I'm stocking up now. That's what I'm doing with the patterns and with fabric. Thinking in a day, someday, I will not be able to buy as much as I do now, and I probably won't have the business running, so I can't use it as a write-off either. So I'm just stocking up for myself, and so that I can continue crafting into my old age. I would like to prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, and one of the things that you can do to help your brain is to stay active with stuff, whether it be stitching, number games, anything like that. So I'm going to continue in the club, not because I need it right now, but because I do need a stockpile, so that a little bit of a nest egg, so to speak, so I will have it in the future. So this is the last one I got. I think if I might exit the Ada Club and go into the Linen Club next. That might be an idea. I did get some new patterns. So if you followed along in social media, you know Heart and Hand puts out whirligigs. I have the spring, the summer, and the fall ones. I got the winter one, and I may have to start this so that it can hang in my house for the holidays. These are kind of easy, quick patterns as well. Another one that I got is Little House Needleworks Lantern Lane, and I just think it's stinking cute. And I'm fighting not to start these because these are also Christmas patterns. There's no way I'm getting all of these done for this Christmas. But I think it's cool. It's very cute. Lantern Lane by Little House Needleworks. I also got one from Plum Street Sampler. Hold on while I put this back in the bag and I take a drink of water because I get dry mouth, so... And I don't have anybody else that can talk when I don't, so. Okay. Plum Street Sampler. It's called Kringle and Woolard. And I think this is cute too. Have not started this yet. But it's cute. It's also one that I would frame. I have this grand notion that eventually during the seasons, I will have different wall decor up for each season. Quilts on my quilt rack. Take some pictures, not pictures of the kids, but I have other framed pieces up on our walls upstairs. You know, taking them down and subbing in things that go with the seasons. Not there yet. I don't think I actually came into my decorating style until we moved into this house, and we've been here 4.5 years. But yeah, I would like to get there. So I guess that's my goal. And then in the realm of cross stitch finishing, I got these from Lady Creates. She has a Facebook or Etsy shop. I will link her shop below as well. I got some finishing twill tape. So I did get the orange twill tape to finish Boo. I would like to do it in a pillow, just as Kathy Haberman has, instead of doing on the bucket, doing something different. So I did get some of these are hand-dyed twill tape, and I got vintage ruler 1/2 inch, and I don't know if you guys can see that through the bag. I just thought these were cute. And I don't know what I'm going to use them on. Can you see that? It's ruler tape, except it's fabric. Can you guys see? There, flip it over. And I just thought it was stinking cute to put on something. So, I might have to use it. But I got 2 things of that just because I thought it was cute. And I could use it. Oh, you're going to hear my dogs barking now. Apparently somebody is near and dear. The other thing I want to remind everybody about, and I did talk about this in Floss Tube 1, Fat Quarter Shop does charity for Make-A-Wish every year. Last year, they do a quilt every year. I am part of that. I buy the kits. I donate to Make-A-Wish through that. It's a free pattern that starts in February. They have quilt kits, backing set, everything you can reserve on there if you're interested in that. They also have a free cross-stitch pattern they're going to do this year with the same premise. The cross-stitch pattern is free. You buy the items to do it, and you make a donation to Make-A-Wish, which would be what you would normally pay for a pattern. I think she's suggesting like $15 to Make-A-Wish. She raises money for Make-A-Wish. She donates money to Make-A-Wish, and I believe it's Riley Blake. I don't know which fabric line. Never mind. I don't know which fabric line. There's a fabric line that also donates towards it for her. And I can't remember if it's Riley Blake or Moda, to be quite honest with you. So I apologize, Kimberly. It just kind of left my mind. But I believe in giving back. I believe in the power of community to make good things happen for others. So I am doing both the quilt and the cross stitch this year. So you can follow along with me. You can follow along with Fat Quarter Shop. I think that there are other floss tubers that are stitching the cross stitch pattern with us. I would love to hear what you have to think, what you think about things like this and community giving back. It would be awesome if a bunch of crafters just came together to make such a huge impact in the Make-A-Wish Foundation or any charity for that matter. My heart belongs to kiddos, so I love to do good for anybody. I have bought the Bloomtopia, I've reserved the Bloomtopia quilt kit, which is the name of the quilt and is the name of the cross stitch pattern. It's called Bloomtopia. I've reserved the backing set and the finishing kit. So that's that. And I've made my donation to Make-A-Wish. I encourage you to do the same if you're a sewer. You don't have to get the kit. The pattern will be free and it will come out in February. But make a donation. Make-A-Wish donation page is linked below at the Fat Quarter Shop. Please go over there and do that. But the cross stitch pattern I bought, they have a project bag with Bloomtopia on it, so I've got that. I don't use needle minders. They do have needle minders. I just find that they're, I don't know. It's a thing. But I bought the fabric that they're doing it on is 25 count Lugana, and I have that. And Bloomtopia thread pack, all available at Fat Quarter Shop. I will link it below. I encourage you to give to Make-A-Wish and to help us out. Cross Stitchers Unite, and go ahead and give to Make-A-Wish for the Fat Quarter Shop so that they can make some wishes come true for some kids. All right, I gotta speed this up because I really don't want these to be any more than an hour, because I think who would want to listen to me for that long, honestly. I hand dyed some of my own fabric over the week. This is Monaco. It's dyed with some, it's not coffee tea dyed. So I used black, gray, and navy blue. And I got kind of the slatey color, which is what I was going for. This I did the same, but then tea dyed it. So I got kind of a lighter blue-gray color. This is a coffee tea dyed Monaco. And this is coffee tea dyed even weave that I got from Hobby Lobby. So I wanted to show you that. I've ventured into dyeing. I'm not sure that I will dye a lot of fabrics. Quite honestly, you can get them in a lot of places, and I'd rather support another small business, but it was just something that I wanted to try, so I did. I probably will order it, quite honestly, from now on, because I don't know, unless it's a tea dye, and I can do coffee tea dye because I drink both. So but I don't know, it's just I have a lot of other things going on, so you know how you have to pick and choose where your time goes. That's, yeah, probably a place where I'll just kind of get it from another Etsy shop or somebody else that does it probably better than I do. Wanted to shout out Jardin Prive. I will link their site below. I'm not going to show you this pattern because they've asked for it not to be shown on social media. I want you to go to their site. They have a free stitch along for Christmas that is really cute. I'm not going to show the chart. It's really cute. And it's one color on a different color Ada. It's very cute. It's very modern. It's very nice. I will link their site below. They do have directions in here on English. I believe it's a French company. Salle de Noël 2019 stitch along for Christmas 2019. It's just cute. It's a free pattern and it comes out weekly, so you just check out the website below to go to that. The last thing that I think I want to talk about this week, I probably won't have this much next week. I don't know, or in 2 weeks. Oh, I'll have more in 2 weeks. Okay, we're good. Fat Quarter Shop has Stitch Along coming up. They have Stitch Alongs pretty regularly. I don't always participate in them because I have other projects going on and don't always have time. But this one I have decided to stitch along with because, quite honestly, it resembles a quilt. It's a pattern by Lori Holt, published by It's So Emma of the Fat Quarter Shop, and it's called Bringing Home the Tree. Gosh, I keep showing it with the plastic in that darn glare. You'd think one of these days I'm going to learn that you can't just do that it glares out the pattern. If I can get it out of the plastic, there we go. It's stuck. There we go. So it's called Bringing Home the Tree. I'm not going to show you the chart. I think you need to go buy it from wherever. I got this from Fat Quarter Shop. I think it's only available at Fat Quarter Shop, probably. Maybe at some vendors or Etsy shops. And it resembles a quilt. What happened was Lori Holt made a vintage Christmas, had a Christmas vintage book where the block resembled this. And she's converted it into a cross stitch, Bringing Home the Tree. This is not the first Lori Holt stitch along that they've done in cross stitch. It's not even the first one I participated in, but the others are still in progress. One of them I messed up on counting on Monaco so bad that I'm probably going to have to start it over. But this one I am going to participate in because it goes along with my Christmas stitch, my Christmas stitching. It starts next Wednesday. You still have time to get all your stuff. I bought that in the thread pack. They have, I believe they have this thread pack. They may have a different one for Kimberly, and they might have an RFO one. I got this one. Decided I was going to do it out of fabric out of my stash, so I'm toying between doing it on the white Ada that I got through my club, or I have this kind of natural linen, and I actually thought it might look good on the linen with the bright colors, the reds and the greens and the blues. I think I like the thought of doing it on the linen, so I think that's kind of where I'm defaulting. And I may start that sometime this weekend if I have time, since the sew along starts on Wednesday, and I'd like to keep up with it this time. I have trouble keeping up with those because, quite honestly, I say that a lot. Honestly, life just happens. And we have parents, we have children, we have grandbabies, and life is busy, and it's good. So I work on what I can work on, but that'll leave me, if I start Mary and I start Bring Home the Tree, and I don't even start the Jardin Prive, that's going to have me 8 whips in progress right now. So I think that's enough. I think that's enough. Thanks for joining me today, guys. I appreciate all the comments, all the thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends. Let's get a community together that encourages each other. You can follow me on Facebook at Little Farm Quilts. Same with my Etsy shop. Same on Instagram. It's all the same name. And I look forward to seeing you there. I hope you guys have a great weekend and do something that feeds your soul. Bye.